Cry of the Beloved Country, Chapter 7, John Kumalo. Kumalo's brother left Ndocheni in Zululand 10 years ago and has never communicated with the family. He finally found him in Johannesburg. We're going to be beginning this on page 65, but halfway down, about there. So, follow along. His brother John was sitting on a chair, talking to two other men. He had grown fat and sat with his hands on his knees, like a chief. His brother did not recognize him, for the light from the street was on the back of the visitors. "Good morning, my brother." "Good morning, sir." "Good morning, my own brother, son of our mother." John Kumalo looked closely at him and stood with a great hearty smile. "My own brother! Well, well, who can believe it? What are you doing in Johannesburg?" Kumalo looked at the visitors. "I come on business," he said. "I'm sure my friends will excuse us. My own brother, the son of our mother, has come." The two men rose, and they all said, "Stay well and go well." "Do you know the Reverend Msmangu, my brother?" "Well, yes, he is known to everybody. Everybody knows the Reverend Msmangu. Sit down, gentlemen. I think we must have some tea." He went to the door and called into the place behind. "Is your wife Esther well, my brother?" John Kumalo smiled his jolly and knowing smile. "My wife Esther has left me these 10 years ago, my brother." "And have you married again?" "Well, not what the church calls married, you know, but she is a good woman." "You wrote nothing of this, my brother." "No. How could I write? You people in Ndocheni do not understand the way of life in Johannesburg. I thought it better not to write." "That is why you stopped writing?" Well, that could be why I stopped. Trouble, brother. Unnecessary trouble. But I do not understand. How is life different in Johannesburg? Well, that is difficult. Do you mind if I speak in English? I can explain these things better in English. Stop and think about that. What could be said better in English than in Zulu? Well, speak English then, my brother. "You see, I have had an experience here in Johannesburg," John Kumalo speaking. "It is not like Ndocheni. One must live here to understand it." He looked at his brother. "Something new is happening here," he said. He did not sit down, but began to speak in a strange voice. He walked about and looked through the window into the street, and up at the ceiling, and into the corners of the room, as though something were there that must be brought out. "Down in Ndocheni, I'm nobody, even as you are nobody, my brother. I am subject to the chief, but he is an uneducated man. Here in Johannesburg, I am a man of some importance, of some influence. I have my own business. When it is good, I can make 10, 12 pounds a week." He began to sway to and fro. He was not speaking to them. He was speaking to people who were not there. "I do not say we are free here. I do not say we are free as men should be. But at least I am free of the chief. At least I am free of an old and ignorant man who is nothing but a white man's dog. He is a trick to hold together something that the white man desires to hold together." He smiled his cunning and knowing smile, and for a moment addressed himself to his visitors. "But it is not being held together," he said. "It is breaking apart your tribal society. But here in Johannesburg, that new society is being built. Something is happening here, my brother." He paused for a moment. Then he said, "I do not wish to offend you, gentlemen, but the church, too, is like the chief. You must do so and so. You are not free to have an experience. A man must be faithful and meek and obedient, and he must obey the laws, whatever the laws may be. It is true that the church speaks with a fine voice, and that the bishops speak against the laws, but this they have been doing for 50 years, and things get worse, no better." His voice grew louder, and he was again addressing people who were not there. "Here in Johannesburg, it is the mines," he said. "Everything is the mines. These high buildings, this wonderful city hall, this beautiful park town with its beautiful houses, all this is built from the gold of the mines. This wonderful hospital for Europeans, the biggest hospital south of the equator, it is built with the gold from the mines." There was a change in his voice. It became louder, like the voice of a bull or a lion. "Go to our hospital," he said, "and see our people lying on the floors. They lie so close you cannot step over them. But it is they who dig the gold for 3 shillings a day. We come from the Transkei and from Basutoland and from Bechuanaland and from Swaziland and from Zululand and from Indochina also. We live in the compounds. We must leave our wives and families behind. And when a new gold is found, it is not we who get more from our labor. It is the white man's shares that will rise, and you will read about it in the papers. They go mad when gold is found. They bring more for us. They bring more of us to live in the compounds, to dig under the ground for 3 shillings a day. They do not think, here is a chance for us to pay more for our labor. They think only, here is a chance to build a bigger house and buy a bigger car. It is important to find gold, they say, for all South Africa is built on the mines." He growled, and his voice grew deep. It was like thunder that was rolling. "But it is not built on the mines," he said. "It is built on our backs, on our sweat, on our labor. Every factory, every theater, every beautiful house, they are all built by us. And what does a chief know about that? But here in Johannesburg, they know." He stopped and was silent. And his visitors were silent also. For there was something in this voice that compelled one to be silent. And Stephen Kumalo sat silent, for this was a new brother that he saw. John Kumalo looked at him. "The bishop says it is wrong," he said, "but he lives in a big house, and his white priests get 4, 5, 6 times more than you get, my brother." He sat down and took out a large red handkerchief to wipe his face. "That is my experience," he said. "That is why I no longer go to the church. And that is why you do not write anymore?" Well, that could be the reason. "That and your wife, Esther?" Yes, perhaps. It is hard to explain in a letter. Our customs are so different here." And Mr. Mangu said, "Are there any customs here?" John Kumalo looked at him. "There is a new thing growing here," he said, "stronger than any church or chief. You will see it one day." "And your wife, why did she leave?" Well, said Kumalo with his knowing smile. "She did not understand my experience." "You mean," said Mr. Mango coldly, "that she believed in fidelity?" John looked at him suspiciously. "Fidelity?" he said. But Mr. Mango was quick to see that he did not understand. "Perhaps we should speak Zulu again,"